All right, let's cut right to it. We're going to talk about SQL today, but we're skipping all the fluff. We're diving straight into the secret that separates the rookies from the pros. A tiny handful of commands that do, no joke, almost all of the heavy lifting in any real data job. Let's get into it.
Yup, that's it. Just 5. Seriously. There are tons of commands you could learn, and yeah, they have their place. But mastering these 5 right here, this is what makes you effective, efficient, and honestly, what gets you hired. This is the fast track to being competent in the real world. You've probably heard of the 80-20 rule, right? Well, this is it in action for SQL. By just focusing on this core 20% of the language, you unlock 80% of the power you'll need day in and day out. And I'm not just talking theory. This is the reality for data analysts, back-end engineers, you name it, right now. So let's unpack that secret. We're going to break down each of these 5 commands one by one. And we're not just going to talk about what they do, but how the pros actually use them. And maybe more importantly, the huge mistakes they know to avoid. All right, first up, we have select. This is the big one. It's the absolute foundation of everything else. You will use this command every single day to ask questions, to explore your data, and to pull out the exact little nuggets of information you need. If SQL is a language, select is basically how you speak. Okay, this right here, this is the classic #1 rookie mistake. Select star is basically telling the database, hey, give me absolutely everything, which on a big table just kills performance. The professional way is to be specific. Tell it exactly which columns you want. It's way faster, it's cleaner, and it tells everyone you know what you're doing. But here's where select gets its real superpowers, the where clause. This is your filter. This is how you go from a massive flood of 10 million user records to finding the 3 people who signed up last Tuesday from Toledo. It turns that mess of raw data into a real, actionable answer. Okay, so we've covered reading data. Now let's talk about creating it with insert. With select, we're just looking. With insert, we're actually making new stuff. This is the command that breathes life into your database, powering everything from a new user signing up to adding a new product to your store. Just think about it for a second. Every single time you do pretty much anything in an app, you post a comment, you buy a t-shirt, you save a new contact, somewhere in the background, an insert statement is firing off, making that data a permanent part of the system. And you guessed it, just like with select, there's a professional way to handle this. These rules aren't just suggestions. They're about protecting your data from becoming a corrupted mess. Using transactions, for example, is huge. It means if you're creating a new order and the payment record for it, either both things happen successfully or nothing happens. No half-finished, messed up data. All right, deep breath. We're now entering what I call the danger zone. We have to talk about the 2 most dangerous commands in all of SQL, update and delete. They are incredibly powerful for changing and removing data, but man, you have to handle them with extreme care. One tiny slip up here can be absolutely catastrophic. And I want to be super clear, this is not an exaggeration. The source material for this was just filled with horror stories. I'm talking about a developer at a huge company who accidentally wiped out critical customer data with a single update and was literally walked out the door that same day. These commands demand your full respect. And this is it. This is the mistake, the one that gets people fired. You think you're just changing one person's phone number, but you forget that little where clause, and you've just given every single customer in your entire database the exact same phone number. It is a full-blown, unmitigated disaster. So how do you avoid that catastrophe? How do you protect yourself? With this is your career insurance policy. It's a 3-step protocol. First, you run a select with the exact same where clause to see what you're about to change. Then, you wrap your update in a transaction, which basically gives you an undo button. It's a total lifesaver. In fact, a lot of pros avoid the finality of delete altogether. They use this really clever trick called a soft delete. Instead of actually destroying the row forever, you just use an update statement to flip a switch on it. Something like is active equals false. The data's still there if you ever have a panic and need it back, but for all intents and purposes, it's gone from the app. It's so much safer. Phew. Okay, we made it through the danger zone. Now we get to the really cool part, the magic. We get to talk about join. This is the command that unlocks the true power of a relational database, because it's what lets you connect all the different pieces of your data together to see the big picture. See, the thing about modern databases is that they're designed to be neat and tidy. You have your customers in one table, your orders in another, your products in a third. They're like separate little islands of data. Join is the bridge you build between those islands, so you can finally ask questions like, show me all the customers from Texas and what products they bought last month. Now, you're going to run into two main types of joins pretty much every day, so let's just break them down. An inner join only shows you the results where there's a match in both tables. Think customers who have placed orders. A left join shows you everything from your first table and then any matches from the second. That's how you find all your customers, even the ones who haven't bought anything yet. Getting this right is key.
All right, let's step back and look at what we've got. You've now seen the 5 core commands: select for reading, insert for creating, update and delete for changing things, and join for connecting the dots. That's it. This is your professional SQL toolkit. Look, if you forget everything else from this, please burn this slide into your brain. These 3 rules are non-negotiable. They aren't just best practices, they are the absolute habits that will prevent disaster and separate you from the amateurs. They will save your data, and they might just save your career. And that's really it. We've just walked through the 5 commands that do 80% of all the work. The real power here isn't just knowing the syntax, right? It's seeing how you can combine these simple tools to turn a mountain of raw data into actual, valuable insights. So now the only question left is, what are you going to build?